Hello everyone, this is Mrs. Sehgal, your geography teacher. Hope you all are doing well and must have geared up with your studies. Well, before I start this presentation, let me give you the gist of the classes taken earlier. First of all, we did the definition of human geography. Next, we did the dualism faced by geography at different points of time. It was then followed by the topic that the nature and human are inseparable elements and should be seen holistically. It was explained with the help of examples showing the relationship of physical and natural phenomena, as described in the form of metaphors using symbols from the human body, such as eye of a cyclone, snout of a glacier, etc. Then we did the two schools of thoughts, that is, naturalization of human, which is environmental determinism, and humanization of nature, which is possibilism. The next was middle path between the two schools of thoughts, that is, neo-determinism, which was promoted by Professor Griffith Taylor. He also called it as Madhyam Marg because that was the middle path between the environmental determinism and possibilism. Well, this is all what we did earlier in the previous classes. Now, today, let us proceed further with this presentation. Children, two things we are going to do through this presentation. First, approaches to human geography at different points of time. And second, fields of geography and subfields of human geography and their relationship with other sister disciplines in social sciences. Well, as I said, we are going to do the approaches to study human geography. Well, earlier there was very little interaction between different societies and the knowledge about each other was very limited. That means there was very little stuff, very little matter for a geographer to study. That was a time when travelers and explorers used to spread information about the places of their visit. Wherever they used to go to the new lands, new regions, new places they explored, and they used to write about those places, and that written account became the subject matter of geography that time. At that time, navigational skills were also not very developed, and voyages were full of dangers. The ships were not that very advanced. So the traveler's account was also very limited. The voyagers could go to very limited places that time. Later on, some specific approaches were adopted to the study of geography. You can see this table there in your NCERT book indicating approaches to study of human geography, showing the period of approach, different periods of the approach, and what was the approach that time in particular period, and what were the broad features of each approach, right? Let us take each approach one by one. First of all, early colonial period. Well, the main approach to study human geography during this period was exploration and description. You can see two words in this. One, exploration, and two, description. The Europeans were very ambitious people They wanted to go to different places, explore those regions, rule over those regions, right? So they went out of Europe and explored different places and wrote different accounts of those places, described those regions, and that description, as I said, became the geographer's account. Geographers took that matter as their subject matter. Like you all must be knowing Columbus, Vasco da Gama, they all went out for different explorations. You know, in their expeditions, they wrote about different places, and that written account was taken in our subject. Well, the main feature of this approach was the European countries were looking for new lands to trade and impose their imperial power. As I said, they were very ambitious. They wanted to look for new land for the purpose of trade, and also they wanted to rule the other countries. So, to impose their imperial power, to make them their colonies, they, explored different regions. This encouraged them to discover and explore new areas. In this way, detailed description of many new areas and places formed an important matter for the use of geographers. So, whatever they wrote, they described, that became our matter to use. I mean, geographers used that matter for their own purpose as subject. Now, next we have later colonial period. In this period, the main approach of study was the regional analysis approach. As it says, regional analysis approach, that means the regional study was given more emphasis. The detailed description of all aspects of a region was undertaken. And the idea behind this was that all the regions are the part of the earth. So, understanding the parts in detail leads to an understanding the whole earth. That means when all the regions are the part of the earth, and we understand those parts one by one, frame by frame, in detail, and makes that the complete knowledge of the earth. So, further in 1930s to the Inter-World War period, the next approach was aerial differentiation approach. Now it was altogether different. In the previous approach, we have done regional analysis. That means we have studied about different regions and then compiled the study altogether. That resulted in the study of the whole world. And now, in the third approach, it was aerial differentiation approach. The approach to human geography was aerial differentiation. What was the main focus? That on identifying the uniqueness of the regions. Main focus was on identifying the uniqueness of the region. Means individualism of the region. What's special about that particular region which is not in other regions? How that region is different from others. That means uniqueness of the regions. To understand how and why it was different from others. So this also resulted in giving comparative studies between the regions, that how one region is different from others, right? Comparisons created. Then next, fourth approach. That was the period from late 50s to late 60s. During this period, main stress was laid upon spatial organization approach. In this period, emphasis was given on the use of computers and sophisticated statistical tools. That means more use of technology was, there in geography. Computers were used, statistical tools were used. That means data was introduced. That means geography became more of more scientific. It became more scientific, right? To the point knowledge was given, right? So statistical data made the subject more perfect. Laws of physics were applied to analyze human phenomena. This phase was called the phase of quantitative revolution. Quantitative. Quantitative means measurable. So, the phase was quantitative revolution because statistical tools were used in this. Data was used in this. When we, use data, that means we are talking something very to the point, very accurate. Like for example, if I say river Ganga is a long river. If I say this as many times as I want, the things will not change. Everybody will imagine in their own way Ganga, how long Ganga is. But if I say that the length of river Ganga is 2525 kilometers, that means I am becoming, particular. That is, I have fixed the length of Ganga. That means there will be no question arises if somebody asks was how long is river this and that. I have given the perfect answer, the length of river Ganga. That means quantitative, or you can say statistical tools helped giving the exactness to the subject, right? So that was the main criteria behind this approach, spatial organization approach. Later on, this approach was criticized for laying excessive emphasis on quantitative techniques. Now, quantitative approach was too much of, it was too much in. But this quantitative approach later, was what you say, it was, people were not happy with this approach. So they discouraged it. They criticized it. They criticized that no, there is a lot of emphasis on quantitative techniques. This is not done because they are not talking about human, they're talking about quantities. They were talking about the growth of the population is this much, total population of the country is this much, but they were not talking about what to do, what is the solution of, reducing the population growth rate, etc. So the approach was not humane. They were going away from the human being because geography was for human being. It started from human being. So how it can go away from human being? So these techniques, quantitative techniques, were taking geography away from human. So it was discouraged, it was criticized this time. The fifth approach was in 1970s. During this period, three new approaches to human geography emerged. They were welfare or humanistic approach, second, radical approach, and the third one was behavioral approach. This was the period when the people were dissatisfied with the quantitative revolution, as I already said. They were unhappy with the quantitative or statistical revolution. People were unhappy with the dehumanized manner of studying geography. That means in geography, human being was not given importance. Data, statistics, these were having more importance. So that was dehumanized manner of studying geography, which dissatisfied people. And then, and this was all the impact of capitalism. Half of the world was under capitalism. So this led to the emergence of these three approaches. I mean, this was due to the pain people were feeling because of capitalism, these approaches came in. Obviously, welfare approach always talked about human welfare, right? So these three approaches came in human geography, and human geography became more relevant to the socio-political reality of that particular period. I mean, people or geographers started understanding the social problems, the political problems they were facing. That was introduced in geography that time. And the last was in 1990s. This was the period of postmodernism approach in geography, the modern geography approach. Here, the stress was given on understanding every local context. Each and every local context was given, stress. And this was more human-centric approach and a very good approach which presently we are dealing with. And that is all with all the approaches. We have done all the 6 approaches, right? And their features also. Children, next we will take up the topic human geography, fields, subfields, and their interface with sister disciplines of social sciences. There is a table given in your textbook, table 1.2. You can also refer that table for this. Well, first of all, let us see the fields of human geography. What all, topics we study in human geography. We study social geography, urban geography, political geography, population geography, settlement geography, and economic geography. So these are the 6 fields of human geography. Now we will do each of the field one by one, and we will find out the subfields of these fields. Let us see. First one, social geography, which is one of the field of human geography. Well, social geography has 7 subfields. It has 7 subfields. I mean, it is such a vast subject that it has 7 subfields. So, behavioral geography, geography of social well-being, geography of leisure, cultural geography, gender geography, historical geography, medical geography. These are subfields of social geography. And what is social geography? Social geography is one of the field of human geography. Now, these subfields have their interface with the sister disciplines of social sciences. These are all the subjects of social sciences, and the subfields of social sciences have their relationship with these, sister disciplines of social sciences. Let's see. Behavioral geography is connected with psychology. Geography of social well-being is connected with welfare economics. Geography of leisure is connected with the sister discipline of social sciences called the sociology. Cultural geography has its connection with anthropology. Gender geography has its connection with sociology, anthropology, and women's study. Historical geography has its connection with history. Medical geography has its connection with epidemiology. So you understand that this is one of the field of geography, that is human geography, and these are the 7 subfields of social geography, and these 7 subfields are connected with the sister disciplines of social sciences. Next is urban geography. Urban geography is the next branch or field for human geography. Let us see the sister discipline with which it is related to. It is related to urban studies and planning, which is one of the discipline of social sciences. Next we have political geography, the third field of human geography. Let us see the subfields of political geography. One is electoral geography, that means geography of elections, and the second is military geography. The sister discipline of social science with which electoral geography is related to is phasphology. Political science is another discipline of social science with which political geography is directly related to. Then next is military science with which military geography is related. The next field of human geography is population geography, and it is related to demography. Demography is the science of population. Geography draws its subject material from demography. Next is settlement geography, and it is related to urban and rural planning. Urban and rural planning is the social science discipline with which settlement geography is related. That means settlement geography gets its subject matter from urban and rural planning. Last but not the least is economic geography, which is a very vast field of human geography. It has 6 subfields. 1. Geography of resources. 2. Geography of agriculture. 3. Geography of industries. 4. Geography of marketing. 5. Geography of tourism. 6. Geography of international trade. All these subfields are related to the disciplines of social sciences. Geography of resources gets its subject matter from resource economies. On the same lines, geography of agriculture gets it from agricultural sciences. Geography of industries gets its matter from industrial economics. Geography of marketing from business studies, economics and commerce. Geography of tourism gets its subject matter from tourism and travel management. Geography of international trade gets its subject matter from international trade. One more sister discipline of social science, which is economics, is directly related to economic geography. In this way, we have done with all the fields, subfields, and their interface with sister disciplines of social sciences. I hope you all have understood these fields and subfields and also the approaches which we have done. Thank you very much.